Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into something pretty complex? We're talking AI and its impact on women's work in Pakistan. And get this, we've got this wild mix of sources. Academic research from PIAE, a tech-focused blog post. Oh, and even some geopolitical analysis thrown in there.
It's a fascinating landscape, that's for sure. What really jumps out is that Pakistan is pushing for all this digital progress.
Right.
But at the same time, they're dealing with basic internet access issues, like trying to build a skyscraper on, I don't know, a foundation of sand.
And that's where it gets really interesting, because the PIAE research mentions that only like 15% of Pakistani women have regular internet access. So how do we even begin to talk about AI and its impact when a huge chunk of the population is basically offline?
It's like we're looking at two different realities. You've got this side of Pakistan that's diving headfirst into AI.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you look at those telemedicine startups like Sahat Kahani. They're using AI to reach all these remote areas, predicting health trends, providing services that wouldn't even be possible otherwise.
Like even projects using AI to fight forest fires.
Exactly. It's already making a difference.
But then you have this other side where women are struggling just to get online.
Right.
How can they be part of this AI revolution?
That's the question.
If they can't even, get access to the basics.
And the PIE report, it doesn't shy away from this. I mean, they estimate that something like 17% of jobs in Pakistan are at risk of automation.
17%? Wow, that's a huge number.
It is.
I immediately think of all those graphic designers, animators, writers on platforms like Fiverr, right?
All those folks.
They're already competing with AI.
Absolutely.
That can just pump out content in seconds.
Yeah. There's a whole new ballgame.
It's like trying to run a marathon.
Yeah.
When your opponent has a supersonic jetpack.
Right. There is this one story the report mentions about Sonia Gonzalez, a Mexican illustrator.
Okay.
Who actually used AI to boost her Fiverr business.
Interesting.
But her success, it doesn't erase the very real anxieties around AI taking over jobs.
Yeah, definitely not.
It's like this double-edged sword.
For sure. It's like AI is opening these amazing doors, but then it's also like slamming others shut at the same time.
Yeah, it's a complex picture.
And, I feel like that fear of being left behind, is probably even stronger for those who are already kind of on the margins.
Absolutely.
Like a lot of women in Pakistan.
You're hitting on a really crucial point. Right. We often talk about AI as this shiny, innovative thing.
The glamorous side, right.
Exactly. But there's this whole other side that doesn't get as much attention.
The behind-the-scenes stuff.
The PIAE research actually talks about this, the world of data annotation and prompt engineering.
The stuff that powers all those cool AI tools that we see.
Yeah, all that behind-the-scenes work.
It's easy to forget that there are actual people doing this, like labeling images, refining algorithms.
Yeah, teaching the AI how to think.
It's people's livelihoods. Yeah, it almost feels like they're being treated as disposable in this rush to develop AI.
Yeah, the report even highlights this case with Scale AI. They provide data annotation services.
Right, I've heard of them.
And they were hiring in Pakistan at, a decent wage. But then all of a sudden, they just stopped allowing registrations from the country, left a lot of workers stranded.
Wow. That's troubling.
Yeah, it raises some serious ethical questions about the whole AI boom. It definitely brings up some tough questions. But you know what? Let's maybe flip the script a little bit and talk about those potential upsides for women, because the PID report, it actually suggests that AI could lead to more decision-making roles for women.
Oh, okay. So it's not all doom and gloom.
Not necessarily, no. In fact, they even talk about how it could potentially reverse some of those, negative trends we've seen in other developing economies.
Now, this is where I get interested. Because we've talked about the risks, right?
Yeah.
The job displacement, the ethical stuff.
Yeah.
But how could AI actually lead to more empowerment for women in Pakistan? I don't quite get that.
Well, think about the skills that are becoming more valuable as AI starts taking over those routine tasks. Critical thinking, problem solving, communication, collaboration.
Right.
All those skills that are, difficult to automate.
The human stuff.
Exactly. Those uniquely human skills. And research even suggests that, women may actually excel in these areas.
So as AI kind of takes over those more repetitive jobs, it's those human-centric skills that become even more important.
Exactly. It's like AI is, clearing the path for women to step into these roles where those strengths are really needed.
Fascinating. But let's be honest, this isn't just going to happen magically, right?
Well, of course not.
We still need to invest in education and training, especially for women who haven't had the same opportunities.
Absolutely. It's about giving women the tools they need to succeed in this new landscape. And that's where, the public sector plays a huge role.
And speaking of the public sector, remember that story from the PIE report about the AI tool designed to detect eclampsia in pregnant women? Potentially life-saving stuff.
Yeah.
And it was rejected by the Punjab health authorities.
A classic example of how, I don't know, resistance to change can really hold back progress.
It's frustrating.
It is. You can have all the brilliant AI solutions in the world, but if you don't have the right structures to implement them, it's all pointless.
So it really is this kind of complex dance
Mm.
between tech advancement and social adaptation.
Exactly.
AI might bring all these incredible opportunities, but we need to address those like systemic barriers if we actually want those opportunities to benefit women.
And then there's the whole question of support systems. The research talks about those upskilling programs specifically for women, making them affordable, accessible.
Affordable, accessible. That's key.
Yeah, especially in a country with such economic disparities.
Yeah.
Actually, the PIE report mentions something pretty interesting.
What's that?
The development of speech-based AI systems. They're doing a lot of this work in Africa.
Okay. How does that tie into Pakistan, though?
Well, think about the literacy challenges, particularly among women. Speech-based AI could be a game changer,
I see.
allowing women to interact with technology using their voice, bypassing that need for, reading and writing.
Like opening up a whole new world of access.
Exactly. But of course, there are challenges. These systems need to be trained on local data to be truly effective.
So you need that global innovation,
Mm-hmm.
but with local adaptation.
Yeah, it's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Right. In a country as diverse as Pakistan, that's going to be a pretty complex process. It really feels like we're at this tipping point, right?
Yeah.
AI is just changing so fast. And we have this chance, this opportunity to make sure it helps everyone, not just, a small group.
Mm-hmm. What really strikes me is that we need to think differently about this whole thing. Like, it's not just about developing the coolest AI tech. It's about creating this whole ecosystem where it can grow in a, responsible way.
And a big part of that is like tackling that digital divide we were talking about.
Yeah.
Making sure women have the skills, the knowledge to not just use AI, but to actually like be leaders in this field.
Right, exactly.
We talked a lot about the challenges, but what about Pakistan's strength? What's there that could actually help them, kind of ride this AI wave successfully?
One thing that jumps out to me is the resilience of Pakistani women. I mean, they've faced so many obstacles, and yet they still find ways to create things, to build businesses, to support each other.
I've heard about all these women-led coding boot camps, these
Yeah.
online communities. Like, they're not waiting for someone to give them permission. They're just doing it.
Exactly. And that kind of drive, that energy, that's what we need to really thrive in this crazy new world that AI is creating.
Right. It's about going beyond just surviving. It's about actually shaping the future.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's where the conversation needs to shift. Instead of just focusing on, how AI will impact women, maybe we should be asking, how can women shape the future of AI?
It's like flipping the script.
Yeah.
Instead of being passive, they become the ones who are, actually in control.
Right, exactly.
And that's really what this whole deep dive has been about. It's not just about understanding the tech, but understanding how this technology can change lives in Pakistan.
And realizing that this isn't some simple, straightforward story. There are going to be challenges, roadblocks, things we don't expect.
But there's also this enormous potential to do good, to empower women.
To create a future that's more fair, more equal for everyone.
This has been a fascinating journey. I mean, we've gone from the nitty-gritty details of AI to the social and economic realities in Pakistan and back again.
Yeah. And it's clear this is just the beginning of the conversation.
Because AI is constantly evolving, and how it affects women in Pakistan, it's going to keep changing too.
Yeah, and the most important thing is to stay informed, to stay engaged, and to keep asking those tough questions.
And for everyone listening out there, keep learning about this stuff. Challenge the assumptions you hear, and be part of shaping this technology's future. Until next time, keep exploring, keep thinking, keep the conversation going.